Hello YouTube, this is Mahadev the Thunder Wizard, and indeed, three-dimensional Earth has fulfilled its purpose, and we are in the process of ascending. So we are going to talk about what happened today. I had a personal experience. I didn't know if I was alone, so I checked in with you guys, and you guys left me some messages letting me know that I wasn't alone. Sorry, my playback isn't working here. Let me refresh the page. One of these days I'm going to figure out how to get this YouTube streaming thing 100% right. Okay. So, the solar flash. Let's talk about it. Once again, let's get up to speed on what is the solar flash. The solar wave is how it was described to me. According to this theory, every 26,000 years, there is a massive shift. There is a massive shift which oftentimes has a huge shift in terms of species on the planet. There might be an extinction event. In terms of Vedic astrology, or not just Vedic astrology, but the Vedic religion, which I believe actually came from light beings who gave us this knowledge. According to this understanding, approximately every 26,000 years, don't hold me to the exact time, there's all this controversy about how much time a Yuga is or an age is, an eon. But what happens every time we move into a new age, it's because our solar system and the surrounding stars have moved closer to the center of the galaxy. The center of the galaxy, our galaxy, holds the center of consciousness for our galaxy. Might as well be for the universe as far as we're concerned. And the way to think about it in normal religious terms is that if there is a place where God lives in the center of the galaxy. So the closer you are to the center of the galaxy, the more spiritual vibration comes to you. And so each time our planet has shifted, it gets closer to the galactic center, our consciousness raises and all kinds of things happen. And there can be physical changes like, during the ice ages, there could be a big shift. We go into shifts like the Dark Ages. So in actuality, according to at least one of the schools of Vedic understanding about the ages, the Dark Ages hit its peak at what we call Kali Yuga, or the Age of Darkness. Now, we are no longer in Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga ended right around 1700, right around when we went through what we call the Enlightenment period, where human beings started getting less associated with the ignorance associated with the most destructive parts of religion, monotheist religion, and started embracing things like philosophy and science and astronomy and medicine, and also the rebirth of classic mythology. And so there started to be a rise in reading the mythology and the humanism. So humans started getting more important. This was right around when we left Kali Yuga. But right in the middle of Kali Yuga was the middle of the Dark Ages. And during the Dark Ages, literally, people lived in their own filth. It was a horrible time to live. If you even wanted to read the Bible, and it was a very religious period, but if you wanted to read the Bible in your own language, you would be flayed alive. That's how much power the religious people had over the average person. So, according to this theory, what happens every 26,000 years is that there is something that happens energetically. And I'm here to tell you, I know for a fact, before 2012, it was a fact that planet Earth, our solar system, and all of the surrounding stars that you can see, all of the stars, in astrology, all of, Sagittarius and Taurus and all of those star systems, all of that was actually in the outer edge of the galaxy in the Sagittarius arm. I learned about it, and I remember hearing about it a long time ago. And sometime after 2012, between 2012 and 2020, literally the Earth, the solar system, and all of the stars around it moved 75,000 light years to where we are now, which is in halfway in between the outer edge and the center of the galaxy in the Orion arm. And science doesn't know about it. If you go back, you'll actually find that, no, according to science, according to history, we've always been there. So people aren't lying. History changed. So something big is going on. Every 26,000 years, our planet gets aligned to the center of the galaxy, which shifts the energy of the planet, and there is a massive shift. Now, when you're going downhill, which is what was happening, 26,000 years ago, 50,000 years ago, when you go downhill, when you're coming from a higher vibration to a lower vibration, you're going to see all of these incredibly destructive extinction events. This is the confusion that's happening. There's a lot of people. There's so much confusion and so much conflation going on right now having to do with everything. But when you hear people talk about the solar flash, people conflate it with a solar flare, which can be extremely destructive. And so people are going back in time and looking at solar flares that have had just dramatically horrific effects on our planet. But that's when we were coming out of Satya Yuga, or the age of truth, the age of spirituality. When we fell from that and the Earth was moving away from the center of the galaxy, then you have all of these tragic species-ending events. But what's happening now, since we've already gone through Kali Yuga, the deepest part, the furthest part away from the spiritual energy, we're now moving back. And because we're moving back, these shifts are going to be positive. And so here comes the solar flash, as people call it. And the idea is that the center of the galaxy, in combination with our sun, is going to send an energy pulse. You can call it a flash or a wave, I don't care. An energy pulse will come from the sun, which will hit the entire Earth, and the vibration, literally the density of our three-dimensional reality will shift up in massively, and it'll create tremendous evolution spiritually, physically, psychologically. There will be a huge shift. Now, the question is whether or not there's going to be one event or multiple events. And as you know, I did not only did I not believe in any of this, I didn't even know any of this existed. If you were to talk to me a year ago, I would have laughed at you if you had even mentioned such a crazy, stupid, silly thing. No, we will evolve through our own spiritual discipline, which of course is still true. but I would never have accepted any such thing as a solar flash and, an instant, and when I heard people talk about the shift to 5D, I had such derision for it, I didn't even bother to investigate it. When people mentioned the Mandela Effect, I had such derision for it, I didn't even bother investigating it. It wasn't until I, as a result of, well, first, all the craziness that went on during the past couple of years with the pandemic, I realized something really serious was up. My understanding of reality was not complete. And I became aware of this thing called CE5, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, which is human-initiated contact with extraterrestrials. Extraterrestrials are not what I thought they were either, not even close. Most of you are probably wrong about what extraterrestrials are also. And as a result of that, I learned that there was this possibility that extraterrestrials, from looking at Dr. Greer's films, if any of them were even slightly true, there was a real possibility I could tap into some really serious power and knowledge. And as you know, as the Thunder Wizard, I'm all about power, all about energy and spiritual power. So I had to figure this thing out. Long story short, I did CE5 numerous times. I was dense, I was thick. ETs were trying to talk to me and I couldn't hear them. So I finally was successful. Finally, an ET who was strong enough to get through my resistance did so, and it completely devastated and destroyed my understanding of reality. I had to recreate my understanding of reality back from zero. And now that I have, I'm still doing it. I'm still learning it. And one of the great things about it that somebody mentioned is that I don't regurgitate what other people say about this stuff. Mostly because I am totally ignorant of whatever the standard spiel is about anything, including the solar flash or the solar wave, the ascension event. I don't know the first thing about whatever it is everybody knows in the New Age community. So whatever I tell you is coming from personal experience and direct communication from extraterrestrials, not from any human anything. So what happened to me a while back, I had a dream. As you know, if you've watched my videos, I had a dream where, long story short, it was a dream that was given to me, a lucid dream that was given to me by the extraterrestrials, that showed me that there was going to come a worldwide instantaneous event where people thought they were going to see the second coming of Christ, and they find out very quickly that it's not the second coming of Christ, it's something else. And it is so massive and so instantaneous that everything on earth shifts to the next level. I didn't know what this was, so the next time that I met with my ET friends, I said, what the heck is this? What's going to happen? A bunch of spaceships going to land on Earth? And they said, no. There's going to be a solar wave, or a series of solar waves, that is going to hit the Earth and is going to raise the vibration up. These are going to be waves of love that will hit the Earth, and it will shift everything and everybody up to the next level. And I thought that was ridiculous. In fact, I thought I had made it up. I said, that just can't be real, until I came on here and talked about it, and somebody on the channel said, no, that's a real thing. It's called the solar flash. So I have been very interested in that. Now, what happened to me yesterday is that, was it yesterday? Yes, yesterday. What happened to me yesterday? As you know, ever since I've had my initial successful connection with ETs, I have been in constant connection with them on an energetic level. They connect to me with higher dimensional energies. If you've ever felt them, they are very intense. They're like nothing we have in 3D at all. And I know when they want to talk to me, because they will basically be texting me with this higher dimensional energy. And so yesterday I went and I meditated, and they invited me into a special seminar where they were talking to a bunch of other humans in their astral form and saying that there's going to be a massive shift and it's coming very soon, and you need to know what to do to be ready for it. And I took mental notes and we asked questions. It was really interesting. It was like being in a college course or something. And I came back and I said, well, that's interesting. I hope that happens. That sounds really great. And then at 7 a.m. this morning, sometime around 7 a.m. this morning, as I was in my between sleep and waking state, my ET friends showed up and said, it's coming now. Be ready. And I went, oh, great. The solar flash is coming. I didn't know if it was the solar flash or a solar flash. I didn't know, but some massive shift was coming and they wanted me to be ready. And then they say, here it comes. And then sure enough, I get pelted with this incredible energy, very intense, very happy energy. It was a little bit challenging. It was almost a little too much happiness. And I don't know, there was 3 or 4 of those waves that went through me. And in my mind, a picture was given to me of like a star exploding in the clouds, and I went and looked. I couldn't see anything strange going on. And I went back to bed because I like to get lots of sleep. I went back to bed and I had the craziest dreams. I had the craziest dreams where I was interacting with higher dimensional beings. I've already talked about it. And when I woke up, I could still feel all of this intense energy, and I had a giddiness and a happiness. And I felt this before because they've showed me what it's actually going to be like in 5D. It wasn't quite at that level, but it was very close. So my conclusion is that this is one of many, perhaps the first of the solar waves that are going to hit. Perhaps there's been others, but this is the first one that I felt. And so I asked you guys to tell me if you've had the same experience, and you thankfully responded. So I'm going to read some of those comments here. And this person says, I've never been able to wake up. I'm not going to read anybody's names, and I'm not going to read all of them, but I'll get to some of them because it's good for me because I wasn't alone. You guys were experiencing this too, at least some of you. This person says, I've never been able to wake up at 7 a.m. Never. Until something woke me at 10 till 7 this morning. So that's interesting. This person says, felt more synchronicity, more realization, things making more sense, more beauty all around, things seemed more in sync. This person says, I woke up this morning in a state of calmness and serenity. That was a pleasant surprise. This person says, I was awoken wide awake at 3:33 last night. If that's accurate, that might have been when the sun was getting ready to eject the solar energy. Who knows? Person was awoken at 3:33 last night. Very unusual. The energy was so intense, I just had to meditate. This person says, what's going on with that one? This person says, I was wondering why I went through so much last night, so many teachings. It was hard to separate them all and make sense of them. The biggest thing I could get from it was that my heart needs to get right. So that's very common. So here's the thing. If you want to know if you've had contact with an actual extraterrestrial, the one thing they're going to do is focus on your healing. This is why anybody who's had connection to what we call aliens, the beings that abduct people, those are not extraterrestrials. Anything negative, anything physically negative, psychologically negative, anything like that, if it has to do with something that appears to be an extraterrestrial, that is actually not extraterrestrial at all. That comes from deep state. That is human invented. We'll talk about that before we get to the end of this. but I don't want to focus on it right now. This person says, last night before I went to bed, I was meditating and imagining the world blanket in unconditional love. I had images of deceased relatives come into my mind. And anyway, that's interesting. This person has a very interesting military type dream that they were saved by a sniper and actually went and what was this? Something like killed a couple of vampires or something like that. Something like that. Let me see. Yes. Anyway. And I had some extremely interesting dreams as well. I mean, dreams that were just really bizarre. I won't get into it at the moment. So let's see. At the very least, it's our brains and our psyches trying to deal with something really powerful. This person says, I had a dream as I was going to sleep of a temple that was colorful and had statues of all the old gods in it. That's cool. This one says, I felt a huge burst of energy of intense love around 7 a.m. this morning. Felt like I couldn't take it anymore. It was just too much. I remember telling myself that I don't think I'll be ready for the solar flash, not knowing that we actually experienced one. So that's interesting. Now we have an idea. Now, they're getting us ready. They're getting us ready for, I believe, the big one. That who knows when it'll come. Hopefully it'll be soon. But it makes sense that it's coming soon, because why get us prepared if it's not going to be soon? Is that it? That's pretty much it. Okay, so. All right, so let's talk about what this is. The solar flash, what it's going to do, I believe what it's going to do is it is going to shift us up to probably the highest vibration that we can tolerate and still be within the third dimension. We might be in kind of an in-between zone between the third and the fifth dimension, but physically we'll still be in the third dimension. And so it's really important. If you want to be able to defeat the elites, if you want to be able to defeat the deep state, the psychopathic rulers of this world, who are looking to gaslight you out of your understanding of what ETs really are, and have been doing so for 100 years. If you want to defeat them, what you need to be doing, every single one of you listening to me needs to be studying from a quantum physics perspective what different dimensions are. Not from the ufology crowd, not from the ET crowd, not from people like, forgive me, but get rid of anything associated with the law of one. It's garbage nonsense. This whole thing about densities and all that is nonsense. It's not that there isn't some stuff in there that isn't accurate, but it's like the Bible. There's some stuff in the Bible that's accurate, but most of it is either inaccurate or destructive. Get rid of anything that talks about that. Because people come on here and they innocently say, oh, I'm already in the sixth dimension. And they have no idea what they're talking about. Because it would be physically impossible for you to be even in the fourth dimension, which really is just the dimension of time. It would be impossible for you to be in the fourth dimension and be able to be seen and heard by anybody else in the third dimension. And you won't know that unless you actually physically study physics, quantum theory about different dimensions. Go learn about that. If you want a quick, Reader's Digest version of it, you don't know what that means unless you're my age. If you want a quick Reader's Digest version of it, then you can get my book. Extraterrestrials Are Coming to Earth, and I go through very quickly explaining to you what it's like in each one of the dimensions. We need to do that. Now, why is that so important? Not only is it important because I believe everybody should be educated in what it is that they want to understand and experience, but because if you are ignorant about how quantum physics and the dimensions work, you can be manipulated by the deep state. So now we're going to talk to you about why it's so important to understand this. And if you understand this, you will never be fooled by false aliens. So, every single alien abduction event, assuming that it's real, and it is a real thing, alien abductions are a real thing. Every single alien abduction event is actually a human, deep state, covert military operation using very advanced secret weapons that humans have that you don't know about. And it is meant to deceive you into making you think it is extraterrestrials. The beings that people see during abductions are either false visions placed into their mind with directed energy weapons, and or they are false memory implants, and or they are humans in very good costumes. And again, if you're under the influence of either a chemical drug or an energy weapon that's going to make you not be able to think clearly, you don't know that what you're looking at isn't an alien. You don't know that what you're looking at is a human in a suit. Or it could also be a partially bioactive, half bioactive, half android AI robot. In fact, in many abduction scenarios, people talk about robots. People, when you hear them talk about when they touch an alien, they will always say that it doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel like an actual person. So, why is that important? Because every single alien abduction happens in the third dimension. Even though there are paranormal things about it, like they have telepathic abilities or telekinetic abilities. Those are things that we can, as humans, create. We've been doing it for 100 years. You don't know it because the deep state just doesn't reveal to you the fact that we already have anti-gravitational technology. We have zero-point energy. We can go faster than the speed of light. We can do everything that happens in all the Star Wars and Star Trek movies. We've already got it, but you don't know that. And so if you experience one of these abduction events, there's no reason that you wouldn't believe it was an alien, except that everything in it happens in the third dimension. So a real extraterrestrial, at least the ones that come to Earth, I can't tell you about the ones that are too far away that don't have the technology, but the ones that come to Earth are higher dimensional beings, every single one of them. And if you see a craft that makes a noise, it's a human craft, more than likely. If you see a craft where you can see any kind of construction, rivets, seams, if you can see that it's a metal, if you can look at it and it looks like a metal ship, it's human created. All of the UFOs that chase after the military, whether it be Air Force or the Navy, those are all human-created aircraft that look like spaceships, and they're not. They're just they're more advanced than anything that we know of in our military or the military crafts that's used in warfare. Any extraterrestrial experience will always be in a higher dimensional state. And anytime an actual ET interacts with you, the interaction will always be focused on you. Not in a narcissistic, abusive way, like abducting you or probing your thoughts or doing medical experiments, that's narcissistic and abusive. It is always going to be focused on your healing, your empowerment. They will never want to show you who they are or what they're about, not because they're hiding, but just because they are only interested in your evolution, your empowerment, your awareness. So if you have any other kind of experience, it's not an ET. And if you don't understand the difference between the third dimension and the fifth dimension from a quantum physics perspective, there's a good chance you will be manipulated and lied to. And this is where the deep state is taking this. They are planning to attack humans on planet Earth with human-made technology. They're going to put either robots or fake aliens or hybrid alien androids into vehicles that human beings that have created, that have anti-gravitational, faster than speed of light, laser weapons, all that stuff, and they're gonna launch those ships and attack Earth. And if you don't understand that anything like that in the third dimension cannot be of extraterrestrial origin, then you, even if you stormed the Capitol, you will be the first person to hand over all of your money and power over to the corporate military elite out of fear, because you won't want to be killed or abducted. So we got that now? Anything that happens with ETs is happening on a higher dimensional level. When you see an actual ET, UAP, unidentified flying phenomenon or whatever, unidentified aerial phenomenon, it is almost entirely certain that what you are seeing is a fifth dimensional object coming into the third dimension. The reason why they are called beings of light is because all of our light, all of our gravity, all of our electromagnetism, all of that, and again, this comes from physics, it comes from science. This isn't ufology, a mythology and lore. This is science we're talking about. According to science, all of the light that we have, all of the gravity that we have, all of the electromagnetism that we have, comes from the fifth dimension. So that means when a being from the fifth dimension wants to get your attention, they will do something with light, because that's their essence. They travel through light. They can travel through the light that's coming out of my chandelier above my head here. When they interact with you, almost guaranteed they are going to be in a space between the third and the fifth dimension. The more connection that you have, the more exposure that you have to higher dimensional energies, the easier it will be for you to sense them. The reason why it took me, 3 CE5 attempts before I had a successful one was because I just was clueless. I was so dense in my three-dimensional psychology and emotions and body that I didn't feel it. They were there. I've gone back and talked to them about it. They were standing right next to me, talking to me. In fact, on the first CE5 that I have, you hear me say on the audio, the recorded audio, I said, are you here? And you can hear somebody in a deeper voice than mine say, yes. There was somebody standing right next to me to my left. There was 2 of them, but I couldn't see them. I couldn't feel them. The second time around, I contacted them, some really interesting, wonderful ETs who said that you're a tough nut to crack. We can't get through to you. We're going to send the big guns next time. And the next time they sent me the red orb, which, red is Mars. Red is a warrior. They sent me a red orb, and inside, I believe, was a 7-foot tall mantis being. And of course, I didn't see him physically. I felt him touch the top of my head. And he got through to me. And what ended up happening is that the armor that I had, the emotional armor, was all of that self-defense that I had created because of all the abuse that I had gone through. All that tough guy stuff that I needed in order to stay safe. As soon as I was in the presence of that being, I became aware of how damaged I was. I became aware of how abused I'd been. I became aware of how frightened I was of true intimacy. And that was the reason when you hear me I'm about to burst into tears. It's not just because I'm physically afraid because something's going on that I can't understand. That's part of it. The other part of it is that all these feelings were coming up. That can only happen in a higher dimensional state. In the third dimension, the only thing you're going to get from somebody is abject terror. And that's what humans do. That's what psychopathic humans do. So whenever you see, if you have ever done CE5, you don't see flying saucers every time. You will see weird little blipping lights. You'll see lights skipping in front of you. You'll see all kinds of light phenomenon. You'll see orbs appear. I have video of an orb flying over my body. I didn't see it. Orbs, because we are in the third dimension, when anything from the fifth dimension enters the third dimension, it's going to start off as a circle. So it's like when you stick your finger into water, right? The tip of your finger comes in, and then your finger gets bigger and bigger if you're looking at it from under the surface of the water. When anything from the fifth dimension comes in the third dimension, it's going to start as a little orb, as a little ball, and then it's going to grow. It's going to come from the fifth dimension, which means it's light. So you will see these lights grow, or you'll see these lights split apart. And of course, the number 3 is very important. So you will see like a light that will turn into 1, 2, 3 lights, or turn into a triangle of lights. They're sending a message, but you'll see that the light is morphing. It's not a solid object, and that's because it's not a spaceship. What you're looking at is you're looking at a fifth dimensional being who is literally just sort of poking in and out of the third dimension in a way that you can see it. If you don't understand this, then, at best, your interactions with ETs will be very superficial. I have a hard time going through, there's a lot of CE5, YouTube groups. And the majority of the comments are people obsessed with looking up at the sky and looking for spaceships. And I feel sad for them because they're missing the whole point. The spaceships, quote unquote, that you're seeing are 5 fifth dimensional ETs who are just trying to open up your consciousness so that then you'll meditate with them. In fact, if you're sitting there looking up at the sky and you see some orb or something like that, I can guarantee you the ET that's responsible there is sitting next to you looking up with you. Oh, you like that? Oh, watch this. We've got to get out of the 3D mindset. And it's the 3D mindset that says, there's a spaceship up there. I want to see their spaceship. We've got to get rid of that. If we can get rid of that, then we can go ahead and break through the dimensional barrier. If we can do that, we will go ahead and be able to destroy the elites. Every time that you connect to the fifth dimension, you destroy a little more of the power of the elites. Every single time. We can destroy the elites. We can rebel against them and completely destroy them without ever going onto the street and picketing, without ever storming the Capitol, or without doing anything political, anything religious, without doing anything violent. simply by our own internal ability as humans to connect to higher dimensions. We destroy their ability to control us. And what will happen is we will eventually be in the third dimension. I'm here to tell you the reason why the shift came last night or this morning. The shift that did come, it came as a result of you. It was a result of you seeking to move beyond your fear, your anger. All of the things that we're doing, the last time we did it, we did an exercise getting rid of your anger, getting rid of your limited attachments. Every time you do that, you get yourself closer to the next dimension. So when we can get to the place where we can interact with higher dimensions at will, there will be no such thing as a deep state. There will be no such thing as the elite. There will be no banks. There will be no military. There will be no government. There will be no poverty. There will be, little or no illness. There will be no sadness. There will be no psychological trauma. All of that can be healed because all of that is third dimensional attachment. So let's get ourselves out of the 3D mindset, get ourselves into the fifth dimensional mindset. We're going to do a meditation to connect. And so what I'd like for you to do before we do the meditation, we're going to do a live meditation in just a minute here. So make sure, if you're watching this live, go get someplace comfortable where you can sit down or lie down. If you're watching this after it's recorded, you can pause and go find yourself a comfortable place to be. What we're going to do is we are going to do at least some HUUL breath, maybe some HUUL breath. And what I would like for you to think about is I would like for you to think about something that is your greatest fantasy. And it's got to come from your soul. So it can't be like, I want to, I want to be, the UFC champion and be able to knock people out with one punch, or, that would have been mine, 30 years ago. It can't be something like that. It can't be something ego. It has to be something, it can be grandiose. Don't get me wrong. Like I am the being that has the most love in the universe. It can be grandiose like that. I am the being that when I walk into the room, people feel the true love in their heart and all of their sadness goes away. It can be grandiose like that. But it has to be something that makes you feel just amazing at your highest and is beneficial to others. Okay? So I want you to think about that. Come up with a fantasy. Maybe, if you can't come up with one, that's okay. I have one, and it is incredibly grandiose. And it's so grandiose, I'm not even going to share it with you. Because it doesn't serve you to know that. But if I get my way, I'll be able to not only help myself, but everybody else too. All right, so that's what we're going to do next. So get yourself in a comfortable position. Let's go ahead and do that. First thing we're going to do, I'm going to tell you now what we're going to do, and then we're going to do it. We're just going to do some deep breathing, and what I want, every time you breathe, we're going to start facing right in front of you. Imagine you're facing north. You don't have to face north. But imagine if you're facing north, there's 8 directions. So we're going to breathe from each one of the 8 directions, starting in front of us and going in a clockwise fashion. And then on the 9th one, we're going to breathe from all of the directions, both up and down and like that. And then we will have multiple dimensions within us. And then we're going to do the HUUL breath. And I have the advanced HUUL breath method, which if you go here to thunderwizard.com and subscribe, I tell it to you in detail. But short, what you're going to do is you're going to inhale, and you're going to bring all of your energy into your body, exhale down into the earth. Then you're going to inhale all that earth energy up into you. Then you're going to exhale it out the top of your head out into all over the world. Okay, we're going to send it all over the world. So we are going to, if you choose to, you don't have to, but if you want to, you can imagine you are going to activate the solar wave energy that hit this morning. Maybe you don't feel it. Maybe a bunch of other people don't feel it because they're too much in their fear, their anger, their ego, or who knows what. We're going to activate the energy that is within them. Because if somebody's at a lower level, this love energy is actually going to make them very uncomfortable. It might make them cranky. It might even make them want to be mean and violent. It's because the pain of feeling their own true soul love feelings is so frightening. They have that armor. So we're going to destroy that armor so that people can break down and cry, feel the true essence of themselves, which is their soul. All right? So that's going to be our goal. All right, so get yourself nice and relaxed. Here we go. All right, and inhale, coming from in front of you. Inhale. Hold it. Exhale. Inhale, coming from the northeast. Exhale. Coming from the east, directly from your right. Inhale. Exhale. Coming from the southeast, behind you to the right. Inhale. Exhale. Coming from the south, directly behind you. Inhale. Exhale. Coming from the southwest, behind you and to the left. Inhale. Exhale. Coming from the west, directly from your left. Inhale. Exhale. Coming from the northwest to the front and to the left. Inhale. Exhale. Now, breathing in from all 8 directions plus the top and the bottom into directly in the center of your body. Inhale. Hold the breath. And exhale. Get in the HUUL breath posture if you know what it is. Inhale very deeply, getting ready to do the HUUL breath. Exhale this into the earth. Inhale the earth energy up into the body. Inhale. Hold. In a moment, you're going to exhale. Exhale all of this energy as you say the HUUL breath out over the whole world, activating everybody's soul energy. Exhale. Inhale through the top of your head from space itself. Inhale. Exhale down into the earth. Inhale from the earth up the feet. Hold. Exhale, send this energy out to every person, stimulating and turning on their soul energy. Inhale through the top of your head from all around you. Exhale down into the earth. Inhale from the earth up. Hold. Send it out to everybody on earth. Exhale. Inhale through the top of your head. Hold. Exhale into the earth. Take your hands right over left, stick them over your navel. Breathe long and deep. We're not done with the meditation. Breathe long and deep. Listen to my voice as you continue to breathe long and deep, holding your hands over your navel. We're now going to shift the timeline. You're now going to think about that grandiose, beautiful gift. You're imagining yourself as a superhero that has whatever wonderful gift, God-like gift that you want to have. And we are going to do the same meditation that we're doing, but we're going to alternate between the HUUL breath and the HUUL breath. The HUUL breath will be to charge the earth. The HUUL breath will be to allow us to shift the timeline on earth. You are going to shift the timeline so that you live in a universe on earth where you have this tremendous spiritual superpower, and everybody on earth is operating from their soul. And the elites have been destroyed. All right? Get yourself back into the HUUL breath posture. Inhale very deep. Exhale into the earth. Inhale the earth up into your body. Inhale. Hold the breath. Listen to me for a moment. You're going to exhale and do the HUUL breath. And when you do, you are going to transform the world into your fantasy. You yourself will also be transformed. Ready? Exhale. Inhale through the top of your head. Extra-dimensional energy. Inhale. Exhale down into the earth, the HUUL breath. Inhale up through your feet. Hold. Imagine your superpower. Exhale the HUUL breath. Inhale through the top of your head. Exhale down into the earth. Inhale through your feet. Hold it. Exhale the HUUL breath. Keeping your eyes closed, bring your hands over your navel center. If you're a man, right over left. If you're a woman, left over right. Breathe long and deep. Listen to my voice. What we're going to do now is we are going to exit the third dimension. And our astral body is going to travel into the fifth dimension, where you are going to consciously choose the reality that you will live in. In this new reality that you are going to choose while in the fifth dimension, you are going to imagine yourself with your most unbelievable, grandiose spiritual power. You are going to imagine a world where everybody lives from their soul. You are going to imagine having everything you've ever wanted. Money, even though there isn't any, you will be prosperous. You will have every physical thing that you need. You will have love. You will have perfect health. You will have happiness and peace. You will live wherever you want, however you want. All right, now what we're going to do is, continuing to keep our eyes closed, breathing long and deep, you're going to imagine that your astral body is going to come out of your heart. As you feel your astral body coming out of your heart center, you put your eyes into your astral body. Your astral body turns around and looks at your physical body. Either looks down on you as if you're lying down, or looks at you if you're sitting. And see yourself exactly as you are. You still feel and hear everything in the third dimension. You don't lose contact with that, but your astral body is going to leave your 3D world. Your astral body begins to float away from your body. You see your body receding. You go up and out through the roof or out through the wall, depending on where you live. You're now outside of your building. You can see through the wall. You can still see your body. You begin to rise up in the sky. Your house, your building gets smaller and smaller. You start to see the lights of your city. You start to pull away, whether it's night or day, depending on where you are. You see the surrounding city lights, or you see the surrounding landmarks. You continue to pull away. You see the continent that you're on. You pull away further. You see the earth as a globe. And you see the other planets. You can see where the moon is and where the sun is. You can see the stars, of course. You continue to pull away and you rise up above our solar system. Our solar system starts to get smaller and smaller. You rise up and you see our galaxy, the Milky Way Galaxy. You look towards the center of the galaxy and you see all of the bright lights in the galaxy. You start to fly towards the center of the galaxy with all those incredibly bright stars and all that bright light. We're now going to enter the fifth dimension. You dive straight through the center of the galaxy into the black hole. As you enter the black hole, you come out the other side into a world of incredibly bright light, brighter than any light you've ever seen in the third dimension. You are surrounded by your fifth dimensional family that greets you, that loves you, that is incredibly happy to see you. They know you're here on important business, so they make their greetings to you and they let you go. You fly towards the center of the fifth dimension, which is a shaft of intense, even brighter, intense light. You enter that shaft. You are now in the center of the fifth dimension, where manifestation and creation takes place. You now allow either television screens or balls of energy begin to swirl around you. And in those balls or on those screens are little worlds. You can see yourself in them. And you mentally intend for your perfect 5D post-solar wave world where you are the happiest, the healthiest, and you have your incredibly powerful spiritual superpower, and you have the life of your dreams. You let that particular ball come to you. You look into it, you can see yourself incredibly happy, exactly the way that you want to be, with no limitations. And now you let yourself go into that ball. You see yourself there, the perfect version of yourself. You then allow your astral body to go into that body. By claiming that body, you have now claimed that timeline. Through that perfect body, which is now yours, walk around in your new world. See who's in there with you. See where you are. Feel the energy. You live in 5D. It is pure love and light and happiness and joy and peace. You love yourself. You feel completely fulfilled and empowered within your own spirit. And now what you're going to do is you are going to, in that body that you're now inside of, that is going to be your vehicle. You are now going to travel in that body out of the center shaft of light. You're now a completely new being. You're going to say hello to all the beings of light who congratulate you for your bravery and your ability to evolve, your choice to become better than you are. You're now going to fly out of the fifth dimension, waving goodbye to all of your fifth dimensional friends and family. You come out and you're now back in 3D space where you can see the center of the Milky Way Galaxy. Allow yourself to fly back to your solar system, which is where Earth is. And when you get to Earth, you stop and you just look at Earth, knowing that you are now outside of 3D space-time. But when you enter 3D space, Earth's atmosphere, you are bringing a new timeline, which must manifest. Have that intention clear. Have the intention to completely disconnect from any attachments that are holding you back to a lesser timeline. Imagine that you are going to enter Earth's atmosphere, and everybody in Earth will also shift up another level because you have. This is the power that you have. With this knowledge, imagining yourself full of light, imagine light coming out of every part of you like you are a star. You're going to fly into Earth's atmosphere. You're now back into 3D space-time. You can feel that the timeline is shifting. You're going to fly back to where your 3D body is. You find your continent. You find your particular landmass. You find your city. You find your street. And then you go through the wall or the roof and you see your 3D body exactly where you left it. And now as you look at that body, you know that that body will change because you're bringing with it a new imprint. Allow yourself to float back through the heart center, and you're now back in your 3D body. Feel that new astral body slip in there like it's a finger or a hand slipping inside of a glove. And now your physical 3D body is already beginning to shift. It's already beginning to change into the imprint that you brought with it from the fifth dimension. Inhale very deeply. Hold it. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Hold it. Exhale. One last time. Inhale. Hold it. Exhale. Before we open our eyes, you're going to keep your eyes closed. You're going to focus on the three centers of your body. You're going to focus on your third eye. In the center of your brain, there is a purple light, and you can feel that shining there. In your heart center is a ruby red bright light that sits in your heart center. You can feel that. In your navel center is a bright white light. You can feel that. In your mind's eye, see all three of those lights. The purple at the top, the red in the heart, and the white in the navel. And now you can go ahead and open your eyes, rub your hands together. You can rub your hands on your face, get some blood flow back in there. Rub the neck, back of the neck, shoulders, arms, chest, torso, legs. Get back in your body. Okay, so the thing to do now is you just accept what you've imagined. Don't think about it. It doesn't mean that you have to concentrate on it and try and dredge it up again. You already did it. You already programmed it. You just put the program into the computer and now you leave it alone. You just go about your life and you will see over time everything's going to shift around you. You act as though, you take action as though everything has shifted. You don't see it yet, maybe you don't feel it. You still have a bunch of other feelings. You feel attached. That's all right. You take action. You think, what would that perfect version of me do? And then you act that way. And that activates the new program. When you do that, I guarantee you things will change. It's okay. You can get in the habit. You can do this meditation every day if you want. All right, let's take a look and see if there are any questions. I like to see questions. If you have a question, write the word question in all caps. If you have a feeling, write the word feeling in all caps and share your feelings. Thundra says hello. Her website is thundra.thunderwizard.com, thundra.thunderwizard.com. She is one of my Vedic astrologers. She does a bunch of other stuff. Go check out her website. Vincent.thunderwizard.com is one of my Vedic astrologers also, and you can see all the other stuff he does. Just look at all that. You can go to his website, vincent.thunderwizard.com, check him out. Agent of the Universe, honest feeling. He's being honest. He says, I felt nothing. In fact, okay, so this is before we did this meditation. So that means today, right? He says, I felt nothing. In fact, I feel disappointed and upset that very few things have changed for the better. So, Agent of the Universe, thank you for sharing your feeling. I accept and honor that you are aware of these feelings. You say it feels like the shift came and went. So bear in mind, there's this thing called the unconscious projection. This is pretty much everything that causes you difficulty is you have this thing called unconscious projection. You project all of your attachments. That's okay. Say to yourself, it's okay that I didn't feel anything, because not everybody did. Say, it's okay that I'm sad that I didn't feel anything. And now give yourself permission to just let go of it and move on. And let's see. You didn't ask for my advice, but there it goes. I'm not going to respond to that. That's not a question. Blue, question. Is it true that there will be a solar flash sometime in the future which will remove all life to another place? I have no idea. Here's what I know. What I know is that the Earth has already moved. I just got my ET friends just jolted me. The Earth has already moved. So think about this for a second. We had the Earth literally, I'm telling you, man, the Mandela Effect is a real thing. It's not that I misremembered or that scientists discovered something and changed it or that somebody is changing history behind our backs. History actually changed. The timeline changed. 20 years ago, our planet was 75,000 light years away on the edge of the Sagittarius arm, on the outer edge, the complete outer edge of the solar, the galaxy. And the 2012 prophecy, which we didn't get. I mean, I was around in 2012 and I remember the prophecy, and the prophecy was that the old world was going to pass away and the new world was going to begin. And we were expecting, some kind of cataclysmic event or some kind of awakening event or something like that. But in that Mayan prophecy, it says that the earth and the sun will go through a wormhole. It's in there. People interpreted it differently. They saw it as being, it didn't even dawn on them that the earth would actually move. It didn't even dawn on them. They just thought it was going to be a shift. And why wouldn't they? There's no reason for them not to think that. As it turns out, December 21st, 2012, the earth moved. The Earth, our solar system, and all of the surrounding stars went through a black hole in the center of the universe and ended up where we are now, 75,000 light years away. And when that happened, our history started changing. It was then that the Mandela Effect started happening and things in our history started changing. It's still happening. Our new timeline is catching up into this new one from the old one. And pretty soon, it's going to completely change. Our history, like actual history, will have completely shifted. The history that our grandchildren will have access to, like they will know for a fact, they'll have physical evidence on the world to prove their timeline, will be totally different from what you and I remember. So this question, is it true that there will be a solar flash sometime in the future which will remove all life to another place? It's already happened. Now, I don't like this question, nothing personal. There's fear in it, and because, as I said, the vast majority of the stuff that you hear out there is coming from people who aren't getting stuff directly from the source. Since I don't know anything about what other people are saying, I only know what I've experienced and what I've been told by the people who know, the ETs. I don't know about this other stuff. But what I hear in that question, and I have heard this, that some people will make it and some people won't, and some people will be transported to a new 5D and other people will stay in the old. That's coming from a place of fear, and I don't like that. It's coming from a place of judgment. Those who aren't spiritual enough won't make it. No. In my world, everybody's going to make it. You're not in a high enough, Bill Gates will make it. He just might be, a street cleaner in 5D. He might have to, clean up his mess, but he's going to be happy and he's going to be comfortable and he's going to be happy to do it. He might end up in the emergency room in convulsions because he has to, his narcissism will have to die and he'll have to tap into his soul, and he'll have to learn how to love himself, which he's not. He hates himself. He'll have to learn how to love himself and the pain that goes with that, and realize his parents abused him and were narcissistically abandoning him. All of that pain he's going to have to go through, and he's going to have to go through it like that. It's going to be no fun. So for those of you that are full of judgment about, somebody wrote in here about the death of the lizard queen, which I have to say I'm really holding back. I find that so incredibly offensive. That you would think of another human being that way is incredibly offensive to me, because it shows your projection. That's how you see yourself. I don't hate anybody. I don't judge anybody. I only want everybody to be happy, and I see myself in everybody. I see myself in Bill Gates. I see myself in the lizard queen. I see myself in everybody. I see my faults in them. And if you can't have the humility to see your faults in the worst person, then when the 5D hits, you're going to have a tough time. It's going to be painful. So drop all that nonsense. Drop all of the judgment. Please. These people are you. They are your soul. Who knows why they've come here to do what they do? Who knows what they've been through? I wonder if you could survive what they went through as kids and not come out screwed up. So knock that crap off. If you're new to my channel, I don't like it. Don't do it. Here we love and we accept everybody. And I will defend everybody, every human being, no matter how awful they are. And I will do everything in my power to give them that feeling of self-love and safety and fulfillment. I don't care who you are. Because if the lizard queen isn't going to make it, then guess what? Neither am I, because I'm not perfect. And I know you're not either. Just the fact that you judged her that way shows me you're not perfect. So let's drop all that nonsense. Let's have some humility and let's have love. Let's see ourselves in everybody. Everybody's doing the best they can. They're just in a different spot than you are. All right, let's see what else. We've already moved. We've already shifted. And maybe it'll happen again. Maybe it won't. I don't know. I think what's going to happen is that we've already moved, and the energy of Earth is trying to catch up. Because as you know, the poles are shifting. The electromagnetic shield around the Earth has been going through shifts. So the Earth is already shifting, and we're trying to catch up. So I don't think that we're going to shift. We already moved. The energy, is just going to try and catch up to where we are. And then when all the stuff is calmed down enough, as well as human beings have risen up to where the energy is of where we are, then the solar flash will come. If it's up to me, I'm going to make it come sooner rather than later. And if you want to make sure that you are prepared for that, that's what this channel is for. This channel is not about talking, it's about doing. Go to thunderwizard.com and subscribe to the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. Press play, do the exercises, follow my directions. I guarantee you will have a better transition. All right, what else? Zarelath. What is that? That's not an honest feeling. It's not a question. Let's see if I like it. Okay, so I did ask for experiences in the original video, so I will read this. Zarelath says, my experiences often come days or months before others. I dreamed Anubis was standing at a gate last week. His dog seemed to come after me, or someone next to me after I bowed and stepped back. Rosebud Adkins, you're new to the channel, correct? Welcome to my channel. Obviously you're new. Now you know. I have no tolerance for people who are intolerant of others. Your comment is incredibly intolerant and judgmental, and it shows your projection of yourself. So it means that you think you're a soulless human. So meditate on that. When you can see in the worst people, in Jeffrey Dahmer, when you can look at Jeffrey Dahmer's picture and see a very sad, broken human who has an eternal soul that's as perfect and brilliant as yours, you're ready for the shift. Until then, you're seeing the judgment that you have is the judgment you have on yourself. Let me share with you again a very important story. This is about the Huna shamanism. I'll try and do it as quickly as I can. A Huna shaman, who is also a psychologist, was asked by an insane asylum in Hawaii. They asked him if he would come and work for them because they had patients in there that they had to literally chain to the wall, because if you got too close, they'd bite your ear off or poke your eyes out. So they didn't know what to do. So they had heard this guy did some great things. He was a Huna shaman, and they said, will you come in and help? He checked with himself and he said, yes, I'll come and help. And they said, great, we'll give you an office. They gave him an office. He showed up the first day and they said, great, when can you see the patients? And he says, oh, I'm not going to talk to the patients. Just bring me their files. I said, what are you talking about? You're not going to talk to the patients. How are you going to help me? He says, listen, this is how I do it. Take it or leave it. Give me their files. What could they do? They brought him the files. He opened up the files, and when he read, patient so-and-so is so violent, he bites people's ears off, and he had a judgment. Oh my God, that's so violent and horrible. And then he realized, that's in me. And then he did the Huna prayer. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And as he looked at that, he saw that his judgment, his disgust, his fear, his disdain was at himself, because that person was part of him. And what the Huna understanding is that everything in the world is inside of you. That means every person is inside of you. So the evil lizard queen, guess what? She's inside of you. You created her. Every horrible person in the world is your creation. It came from your unconscious. So he says to himself, as he looks at that picture and looks at what's written, and he feels all those judgmental feelings, and he says to himself, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And he says it over and over and over until he starts to see that person as a perfect soul with perfect light that is in fact as much God as anything. When he sees that that person is perfect like God, then he moves on to the next person. And guess what happened? Every single one of those people walked out of that insane asylum on their own recognizance. They magically healed. Their insanity magically went away. Why? Because he stopped judging them. And when he stopped judging him, he stopped judging himself. If you want to make it to 5D, you got to stop judging other people. And every judgment you have of somebody else is your own projection about how you feel about you. Moving on. Blue question, is reincarnation true? Welcome to the channel. Please, everybody, if you're new to my channel, what I'd like for you to do is go to the thunderwizard.com YouTube page. Thunderwizard, DOTCOM. Learn how to search within channels. Everybody should know how to do this. Do not be lazy. Do not let YouTube bounce you around. When I want to learn about what's on somebody's channel, I go to their channel page. Since I have a laptop, I can go to the page where it says videos, and I go where there's a magnifying glass. I click on it, and I put in whatever search word I want. If it's on a phone or on a tablet, you're going to have to screw around until you see a pull-down menu where you can say search term. So, Blue, go onto my YouTube channel page, search for the word reincarnation. Because that's a huge subject, and I've made probably tens or hundreds of hours of video on that. Go research it yourself. Thank you for the question. Shivneel Singh question. I think you've asked me this before. Have you asked me this before? Somebody else mentioned it in a comment. So, can we change the past with this meditation technique? I recall in your previous video on Black Tom that if a person is motivated and focused enough, they can change their past. Before I answer that question, I want to know why. You have an emotional connection. Why do you want to go into the past? If you can tell me that, make me understand why, I'll answer your question. Oh, you said later. Forgive me. I didn't keep reading. You said, I would like to change an event that happened to someone I love that has damaged her psyche and she can't move on. Shivneel Singh, you're misunderstanding the basic tenet of being enlightened. Let me tell you the definition of enlightenment. Would you like to hear it? Enlightenment is when you are what psychologists call individuated. When you are individuated, you do not need anything outside of yourself to make you happy. That means nothing anybody else does can make you feel more empowered in yourself. If they treat you well, you still love yourself 100%. You loved yourself before they treated you well. You love yourself after they treated you well. If they treat you poorly, you are individuated enough that you still love yourself because your sense of self doesn't go down because they treated you badly. And your love of them does not change because they treated you badly. You have compassion for them. You ask yourself, wow, what would make me do what that person did? And when you can have empathy for them, you go, wow, that must be very painful. I hope they work through their own karma. You are not responsible for somebody else's karma. What you have just said is what's called codependence. It's not your job to go back in time and fix somebody else. Forgive me for saying so, but who the hell do you think you are? They got themselves into that. If you know anything about karma, it's because they did something and chose to have a life. You don't know what they need to learn. To understand this, go get my book, Extraterrestrials Are Coming to Earth, and read about the preferred probability experiment. You are a preferred probability experiment of a ninth dimensional God. For you to think that you can go back in time and change something that happened to somebody else, you are basically going up against Shiva himself, who has said, hey, Shivneel, you don't get it. This is between me and her. She wanted to understand something about the fundamental nature of the universe, and we're working together for her to figure that out. This is none of your business. Back off. If you love her, you're going to let her have her experience, and you, instead of what you're doing now, which is you are seeing her as damaged. You even wrote, damaged her psyche and she can't move on. How dare you say somebody can't heal? How dare you limit them? This is your projection of yourself. It means that she bothers you. Here's what's really going on. This is passive aggressive. You want her to not be in pain because when you see her the way you see her, that she can't move on, it's because it makes you aware that you can't move on and you don't like that feeling. So angrily, you're telling her to knock it off. Stop being so screwed up. You're making me realize how screwed up I am. It's incredibly selfish, it's destructive, and it's controlling. But here you are thinking, I'm going to go back in time like Superman and I'm going to fix somebody. It doesn't work like that, my friend. If you love her, you will first and foremost believe in your heart that she has the infinite power of the Spirit within her. She has the infinite power of God within her, and she can choose to move on. And when she's ready to do so, she will. And until then, it's none of your business. Now, go back and work on you. Go back in time and fix the things that have damaged you because she's reminding you of how you were damaged somehow. Go back in time and fix how you can't move on. Again, there's all kinds of other things. Makes me think that there's a woman that you're in love with and she's in love with somebody else, and you think if you can go and remove that person from her, that maybe she'll love you. I don't know. That's the first thing that comes to mind. I could totally be wrong about that. But in any case, it's none of your business. Work on yourself, my friend. Read my book, Extraterrestrials Are Coming to Earth, and read the part about the preferred probability experiment. Blue, question. So there are no bad aliens in reality? Blue, no. There are no bad aliens. Every single extraterrestrial that is coming to Earth is a higher dimensional being. And again, if you understand the laws of physics and you understand spiritually, you will know that in higher dimensions, it is impossible to have predatory intent. It is impossible to want to harm somebody, to want to feed off of them, to want to use them, manipulate them, devalue them. It is impossible because at those higher vibrational levels, you're just incapable of having those feelings. These are only things that happen on the third dimension. So every bad alien is in a third dimension. And since it's impossible for any third dimensional alien to get to Earth, the only conclusion is three-dimensional bad aliens are humans. You realize it's impossible. There's no way an alien can get to Earth if they're in the third dimension. It's not possible. Because the only worlds that have the ability to have three-dimensional life are hundreds of thousands or millions of light years away. And so they can't get here. Even if they can go the speed of light, they couldn't get here. The only way that extraterrestrials are coming to Earth is because they're able to travel millions, billions of light years in a split second, and that can only be done from higher dimensions. Blue, what kind of orbs are the blue ones and the white ones? I don't know. Why don't you ask them and find out? All right, that's not a question. Baba Junzo, honest feeling. I feel really angry that my brother interrupted me halfway during the meditation to walk the dog. Yeah, well, there you go. I understand your feelings. Shivnil Singh, honest feeling. I'm having conflicting feelings. Resentment, anger, and judgmental beliefs. Good for you. Good for you that you're honest about it. That's the first step to healing. However, I also feel love, compassion, and the desire to change things. What things do you want to change? The only things that you should change are yourself. And the only things that you should change about yourself is focusing on making yourself happy. Here's the definition of codependence. By the way, everything in life, that's a generalized statement, but there is truth to it. Everything in life, from serial killers to overprotective mothers and to sad, self-destructive, suicidal people, it all comes from codependence. Codependence is very simple. Codependence is you do not believe that you are lovable and valuable simply because you exist. You need something outside of you. You need to fix somebody. You need to go back in time and fix somebody. You need to become a nurse and heal and fix every sick person, because if you don't feel you have any value. You need to become rich and powerful. You need to people please, or you need to control and dominate. All of these are feelings of I'm not enough within myself. I have to have something outside of me. I have to be beautiful enough, powerful enough, lovable enough. If you realize that you are, in fact, lovable because you exist, and that there is nothing you can do, nothing you can change, nothing you can be that will make you more lovable and valuable than you are right now, then you're not codependent. So since every single one of us has one of these things, to some degree we're codependent, which is why we're working towards our greatest spiritual evolution. So meditate on that for a while. I forgot what my point was. Timothy Zoll, honest feeling. That was nice. My ultimate timeline change wasn't that grandiose, but pretty simple. Peace and serenity for all. It will happen. It will. If you intend that without attachment, it'll happen. All right, that's it. I don't see nothing else here. Somebody got political there for a second. I don't see any other questions, so we're done. We've been here for a while. That's it. Keep your eyes peeled. A lot more stuff's going on. And as always, if I've done or said anything that's been hurtful, feels offensive in any way, know that I'm coming from a good place in my heart, and know that I love you so much that I will tell you the truth, even if it means that you don't like me and won't watch my channel anymore. I'm only interested in the truth. I'm only interested in telling you what I would tell myself. And so, if you hang around long enough, you'll know, at the very least, even if I'm human and I make a mistake, you'll know that I'm coming from that place. Having said that, this channel is about doing the work. It's not about listening to me talk. If you want to do the work, which I recommend you do, go here to thunderwizard.com, scroll around until you see Warrior 90-Day Challenge, Lightning Qigong, and subscribe. If you don't like it, you can unsubscribe whenever you want. It's going to cost you less than your Starbucks coffee that you get every day that's destroying your kidneys and your adrenal glands. If you want to know about all my books, you can go to courses.thunderwizard.com. You can go to Amazon and just type in my name right here, Michael William Denny, or you can go here to michaelwilliamdenny.com to see all of my books. My Audible books should be coming out very soon. And that's it, my friends. I hope this was helpful for you, and I look forward to seeing you all next time. Let's see. Nothing else? Nobody else. That's it. All right, guys. Take care. Extraterrestrials are coming to Earth. Why are they here? What do they want from you? New book available now on Amazon in paperback and Kindle. Extraterrestrials Are Coming to Earth by Michael William Denny. You've heard all the stories about ET